sometime on tour, I'd like to tell you more about this mighty green flying machine. Now Mount Cervantes was built in 1944 by the General Motors Company, Pontiac, Michigan. Between 1942 and 1944, there were a total of 22,000 ducks that were made and sold for $10,000 each by General Motors in Pontiac, Michigan and St. Louis, Missouri. These ducks served their purpose in World War II and part of the Korean conflict, where they carried troops and supplies from ship to shore and shore to ship. Mount Cervantes is 32 feet long, 8 feet 2 inches wide, 9 feet tall, and weighs a slender 7.5 tons. These ducks are powered by a 100 horsepower, 5.9 liter Cummins diesel motor. Reach to about 50 miles per hour on land and 6 to 8 knots on the water, having both 4-wheel and 6-wheel drive. Now, as you go down this hill, if you get the feeling you are about to fall out of the duck, do me a favor, grab onto the person next to you and bring them with you. Here at the original Wisconsin Ducks, we're not required to stop for only one person. Guys may notice these danger warning signs on both sides of the duck. That's because we've entered the most dangerous part of today's tour, the S-turns. And the S-turns get their name from the trail being shaped like the letter S. So as we come to a stop here, per safety requirements, please reach under your seats, grab those red safety straps and buckle up. Oh, you guys are good.
You're better.
Just made our way down into Ferndale. Now there are said to be about 27 different species of fern that are native to the Wisconsin Dells area. There's fern like the yellow fern, the red fern, the blue fern, the green fern, the purple fern, the brown fern, the black fern, the interrupting fern, the walking fern, there goes one now. My favorite also left here, the very rare invisible fern. You guys see it? Yeah, me neither. Now you guys may notice these sandstone cliffs on both sides of us. Well, they actually hold in a lot of moisture, which makes them act as a natural air conditioner. So the shade from the trees and the natural air conditioner, well, it tends to get about 10 to 12 degrees cooler down here than it does the upper Dells, making you guys some of the coolest people in town.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we're gonna
Okay, cool.
We're gonna stop and look for traffic. Now as you go into the Wisconsin River, it does get a little bumpy, so I do recommend holding on. With your other hand, I recommend plugging your nose.
Wow.
Oh, it's beautiful, right?
Beautiful, amazing, seriously. Wow.
Alright, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to float the beautiful Wisconsin River. The Wisconsin River is 430 miles long. It starts at the Wisconsin-Michigan border, making its way through 27 hydroelectric dams. So which one of those dams can be found here in the Wisconsin Dells? These 27 hydroelectric dams give power to over 200 cities in Wisconsin, making it one of the hardest working rivers in America. We're now coming up to our first rock formation on today's tour. Now if you guys follow the celestial line all the way down to this mushroom-shaped rock up here, this is known as Pulpit Rock. Back in the 1800s, there was a traveling preacher who would come and use this rock as a pulpit. Native Americans would sit in their canoes just below, listening to the preacher's sermons. Eventually, they got bored and would end up falling asleep and float downriver. The preacher did not like this, so he went into town, went to the local saloon, and found the guy playing the baby grand piano. I brought that guy back with him in hopes of keeping everyone awake during the sermons. That's until the guy playing the baby grand piano fell asleep. The preacher went to go wake him up and then startled the guy. The guy thought he was still in the local saloon, so he started jumping up and down, banging on the keys, eventually breaking Pulpit right in half. Sending half a Pulpit Rock off to the left there, sending the baby grand piano off, rolling off to the right, with the left leg of the baby grand piano still hanging on Pulpit, and the keys facing the heavens. Now it was said that the preacher did do some witchcraft on the side and actually put a curse on this baby grand piano. So you come out here at 3 a.m. well you might just hear playing some hard rock by the Rolling Stones. up to our second and most famous rock formation stage tour. You guys follow this shoreline here in front of us all the way down to our left. You'll see that very pointy rock that sticks out about 60 feet above water with nothing under it. This is known as Hawksbill. Now it gets its name because if you use your imagination, you'll notice that the upper rock is its upper beak, the middle rock is its tongue, the lower rock is its lower jaw. If you extend your imagination even further, you'll notice that the swift in the rock is its eyes, and the rocks right next to it are its shoulder and wing as it gets ready to soar across the beautiful Wisconsin River. You guys all see it there? This is our most famous rock formation here in Wisconsin. The elephant was even featured in Life magazine back in 1962. Alright, now you guys may notice the same sandstone cliffs on both sides of us here that we've seen back in Ferndale. These are known as Potsdam sandstone cliffs, and they're actually very unique as they can be found in only 4 places in the entire world. The first being Potsdam, Germany, where it gets its name from. The second being Zurich, Switzerland. The third being upstate New York. And the fourth being on this 10.5-mile stretch on the beautiful Wisconsin River. Alright, now you guys may notice this change of scenery here on the front right of the duck. That's because on June 9, 2008, the worst natural disaster Wisconsin Dells ever experienced occurred. The breach of artificial Lake Delta. Now just on top of that hill there is County Highway A. Just on the other side of the highway is the artificial Lake Delta. Now after a record amount of rainfall, Lake Delta rose so high that it started bleeding up and over into the Wisconsin River. Eventually water pressure picked up so hard and all the rain here gave out, creating a 400-foot wide canyon until the lake fully emptied into the Wisconsin River. Now you guys may be wondering how high the river got that day. Well, if you look off to our left, you'll notice where the shoreline meets the tree line way up there. That's how high the river got that day. Back in the 1850s, there was a little city here called Newport. Newport took up all this land here on the right side all the way down. On the right, few people that lived here in the city of Newport, and they overheard the conversation that the president of the La Crosse Milwaukee Railroad, Myron Kilbourne, wanted to build a railroad bridge from shore to shore. So they were thinking these cliffs on to the left and these ones on to the right. Now people heard about this, they moved into the city of Newport, buying land and reselling it for 10 times the price they bought it for, which was a very good profit plan. That's until Myron Kilbourne came down to ask for some help and to purchase the land to build that railroad bridge on, and that's when these people gave him the ridiculous offers. Now instead of taking their offers, he found a few people to zone, but about 2 miles up the river and built the Kilbourne Railroad Bridge that is still there till this day. Now have any guys ever been to Kilbourne? No, I guarantee you have, because in 1931 they changed the name from the city of Kilbourne to the Wisconsin Dells. Now people heard that they built the bridge up there, they all left the city of Newport, making it an absolute ghost town. In the late 1800s, a wildfire swept through, taking everything in its path. All but one property, Dawn Manor, which stood on the artificial Lake Delta, but is no longer there as of last year. That is why we call it the Lost City of Newport. It is a gauge 6-wheel drive, and it's because there's a large sandbar. We're going to be going over here very shortly, so we'll get a little bumpy. We have now just made our way into